Rock and roll. All right, party time.
Godzilla says that I should learn to fight my own battles. No.
Hello, cadets, and welcome to another episode of the Big Monster Briefing Room, episode 93, believe it or not. We've made it to 93. I am General Lemuel T. Howitzer, retired, and I salute you. Cadet Fred Bowman is here, I see. Awesome. Excellent. Let's bring up my able-bodied assistant, Major Millie Hazzard.
Good evening. Good evening.
In the lab again, I see.
Yes, you know, it's a crazy life. That's just what it is. And one of the cadets said, this is a scary intro. And yes, it's Diane Call who wrote the song. And it's Rory Penning, our good friend, who put all of the video together with it. It's very eerie and very spooky.
You know, I just realized that when I drink from this cup, this looks like it could be my beard.
I think that's true. I never noticed that.
Maybe a little blood around the mustache, but that could be my beard.
It's a little worrisome, but maybe that's why you make all the noises, you know, maybe it's
worrisome.
It's a little worrisome. It's a little worrisome.
It's a little awkward.
Who got you that mug?
Diane Marie Call.
The person who wrote the entire
person who wrote
theme
the song. Yeah, the theme song for the show. She's a very she's a fan of the show. She likes what we do. She appreciates the fact that we save people's lives.
Yes.
By telling them how to fight monsters with flamethrowers.
And other assorted objects.
Other assorted objects, but that's my weapon of choice.
Yes, General. Knows, especially back in the day, every time they brought you in, you would just flame them. You know, you would just flame it. You were a flamer. They called you a flamer.
No, they did not.
Yeah, remember? I used to hear it back in the lobby all the time when you weren't around. People would say, "What a flamer!" I think that was because you liked the.
I can't even believe you went down that road. So
it just wrote itself. It wrote itself. I cracked myself up. I'm in stitches. I'm just hilarious.
Yeah, you crack yourself up. So,
yeah, I'm alone in the lab all the time. I got no one to talk to but rats and cockroaches. It's amazing. It's stunning how social I actually still have. You know, I'm still relatively normal. Don't you think I'm pretty normal?
You're doing experiments on cockroaches?
Let's not mention it. Just don't tell my superiors I mentioned it.
I would think white mice, maybe a monkey or two, but cockroaches was the last thing I expect you to say.
A macaque. It was a macaque. Anyways, Cadet Bowman said, I always thought that the general was a flamer. Yeah, he loves that. He does this.
Listen.
It's a lot of this when you're a flamer.
I don't want this joke to get away. So if I'm ever in a duel with somebody, it's 10 paces, turn.
I totally agree. It's very useful.
Don't need dental charts.
That's absolutely true. So what are we discussing today? What's our training film? What's on the docket?
The training film on the docket today, since this is Halloween month, we decided to go big. We brought two of the worst characters in horror history together, and that's Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger.
And it's such an amazing
Freddy versus Jason.
Voorhees. That Voorhees is such a dainty name for Jason. I always found that very interesting that they chose Voorhees. It's very annoying. It's very innocuous. It's innocuous.
There's a few extra syllables in there. What the hell happened?
I'm from Yonkers. It explains everything.
You're talking like Christopher Walken.
It explains.
You add syllables to words. A word like word, which is one syllable, becomes 3 syllables if you do it like walking. I mean, word.
He's very melodious when he talks. Every single sentence is a new song.
All right.
All right, moving along. We go to next.
Very innocuous.
We go to next.
Let's bring up our guest, Mr. Julio Morales. Usually joins us for zombie films, but we bring him in for Jason films and for Freddy. Well, actually, we had somebody else do Freddy, but he's definitely
I would love to do Freddy, though. I mean, most of my T-shirts are Nightmare on Elm Street related, but
oh, okay. Well, now we know.
Yeah,
there is another person that likes to come in to talk about Freddy Krueger. So we
Freddy
Krueger, we'll invite you both in.
Either way, I mean, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me, Howitzer. And
always good to have you, sir.
Major head. Yeah, sometimes. Let's see if I do today.
So, okay. Let's begin our timeline because it's a long one. It's about 170 slides. There's a lot going on in this movie. It's a New Line Cinema picture, obviously, because Freddy Krueger belongs to New Line Cinema. In the beginning, they show Freddy Krueger back, when he was terrorizing the children. We get a little backstory. A little doll in the oven there. And he's enjoying his work. He's licking newspaper articles of his work and putting them in a scrapbook. And then the parents torch his place. They kill him because he got away.
Yeah.
The courts let him go. So the parents took law into their own hands, became vigilantes, and they killed him. And then he came back as something more powerful, killing kids in their dreams. There's Tina from the first movie, and there's a clip from the third movie where the kids are all in an insane asylum.
That really is the best. That's the best Nightmare on Elm Street film to me. Dream Warriors, the third one. It's wonderful.
Yeah, 1 and 3 are very good. They're excellent.
Yeah.
And here's the reason why: because Wes Craven was at the helm. Wes Craven knows this character better than anybody else. So the ones that Wes Craven was at the helm at were the better training films. Robert Shea, the producer, took over for part 2, part 4, part 5, part 6. His stuff was kind of shticky.
Well, it was because I mean, I don't even know if many of the viewers would be familiar with A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's
Revenge. Yes, that was a Robert Shea.
It was so bad. I mean, I like it, but not for. I like it, but for not liking it reasons. I like it because it's sticky.
Yeah, it's again a bunch of setup deaths, and they kind of deviated from the original formula a little bit too much, I think.
I liked the Dream Child as well. Where the girl had like psychic powers with Freddy or whatever, like that was a good one too. But
they went that route with Jason Voorhees too.
That's basically how we wind up where we are today.
Even superhuman monster.
I mean, Freddy versus Jason, the film itself, went through development hell for years.
Oh, I bet.
So, and that's why you said when it's on New Line Cinema, it's like, yeah, because originally Friday the 13th was on Paramount, and they wanted their bread. So. Yeah.
Well, and again, it's not called Friday the 13th. We talked about this before. They started.
Yeah, it's like Jason X.
Goes to
yeah.
Hell, Jason X,
The final
Friday. Getting around it that way. Okay.
The final Friday, yeah. But we should probably start talking about this one.
Yeah. Okay. So, so Freddy says they're not remembering me. They're forgotten about me. I'm losing all my power. So I'm going to get somebody to make them remember about me. And, we cut to Jason Voorhees and his background story. And then his mother appears. They tried to get the original actress to come back and play her again, but she refused. So they got another actress to play her in this. And
I did. I didn't care for that very much. I would have preferred the original.
Of course, it would have been better to get the original.
It is what it is,
Sometimes you can't get the original. So again, Ken Kurtzinger, he plays a great Jason. I think this is the only one he did Jason in.
Is this actually Ken Kurtzinger?
Yes.
Oh, really? Because I thought this was the last time.
Kane Hodder. The last Kane Hodder was Jason X.
Oh.
This came after that. Now, what I like about this one is they've repaired his hockey mask, so his hockey mask isn't split down the side there, and his eye actually is below, like a Quasimodo thing. His eye is below if you look closely in the mask.
No, I noticed that.
Yeah, they did some makeup to give him that kind of mongoloid Jason look, even when he's wearing the mask. So that's it.
Yeah.
So the mother who says, go to Elm Street. The children have been naughty there, or the people have been naughty there. He lumbers off. He comes back to life, lumbers off, and then the mother turns into Freddy. And it's Freddy all along. And that's how the movie starts. We get the opening credit.
With the blood and everything. That's a good opening credit.
Yes, agreed. So he lumbers into Elm Street, and we go right back to the house where it all happened in the first Elm Street movie. Somebody else is living there now. Laurie and her family, Laurie and her father. There's Jason outside. He really is a very impressive Jason. I mean, he's very tall. And Hodder is well built. He's very muscular and he's wide. But this guy's like really tall, and I really like that. And
the thing about Ken Kissinger is that he was actually in Jason Takes Manhattan. He was the bartender that tried to get into a fight with him.
Oh.
So it does seem like the natural, and he is a big dude. Yeah. So it does seem like the natural progression, especially since he was already in the.
Yeah, he probably talked to the right people, and
I wish that Kane Hodder would have been there. I mean, I'd love
an audition. They say, "Oh, you've been in a previous Friday the 13th." Wait a minute.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen him in other works like Hatchet and stuff like that, and he's good. But
okay. So these three girls are in the house, the original Nightmare on Elm Street house, and a couple of guys show up with beer, and one of them's kind of abusive, verbally abusive. He ends up upstairs with one of the girls. I can't remember her name. I guess it's Gib. And she goes to take a shower, and his buddy downstairs who goes to get some more beer, he notices that there's a door open. One of the kitchen doors open, so that's usually like then we know that he's in the house. And sure enough, he's upstairs waiting for the guy to turn over in bed, and he stabs the guy repeatedly in the bed, and then he folds the bed up. For some reason, they've got a folding bed upstairs. And that's the bed they choose to make love on. I don't know.
Yeah.
So he folds up in the bed.
I want to say that character's name is Laurie, but I'm not 100% sure.
No, Laurie is she's the main actress, I think.
Right? Yeah.
The one that looks like
if I remember correctly,
there's something about Mary. Darn it.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember what the hell her name is either.
Move on.
Yeah. Move on. Yeah.
So a Gib comes out of the bathroom and she sees him folded up in the bed, all bloody, and freaks out. They run out of the house, and the police just happen to be driving by. They're banging on the police car. Oh my God! My boyfriend is dead in there in the house. And the police show up, and they're being careful not to say anything about you know who. This is kind of like the Harry Potter films. It's the villain who cannot be named. They don't want to say Freddy Krueger's name, and that's right on up to the sheriff. So there's a new guy, and he's trying to find out what's going on, and the sheriff's like, "Yeah, well, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it." So Laurie goes to sleep, waiting in the police station, and we get a dream sequence where she's in the police station. She's walking by posters of missing children, and they watch her go by. Again, another Harry Potter kind of thing. And then she finds a little girl whose eyes have been gouged out, and she's talking to her, and it freaks her out. Who wouldn't freak out? And then she meets Freddy, and she wakes up. Then the other guy's best friend, the guy that got folded up in the bed, his best friend, let's go back a slide. Best friend, he's, his dad's trying to talk to him, and he falls asleep on the porch. Freddy can't get to him. He's not powerful enough, so he lets Jason kill him. So he chops off his father's head, and then he chops him up. Right there on the porch. Jason. You always hear that when Jason's around. Meanwhile, we go to Weston Hills Sanitarium, a psychiatry hospital, and we meet two other characters. Mark, who's kind of weird, and is it Jason? No, not Jason. Silly me. Will is his name. Will. Jason.
Will. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Will. I am. So they're getting their medicine. It's a medicine that actually will help them not to dream.
They had that. They had that in the Dream Warriors as well. Supposedly able to help you dream. They actually used to sell
not dream.
To not dream. Yeah, they used to sell it as a little merch bottle where you could buy like whatever I can't remember what it was called, but they used to sell like an empty bottle and you could buy it. So.
Oh, okay. Jonathan, here.
You okay. Hey, Jonathan 7. So hi everybody.
He sees his girlfriend, who is Laurie, on the TV after the death of the guy upstairs folded up in the bed. They have her on TV, and he sees it, and he's like, "That's my girlfriend." And she talks in the beginning of the movie about how her boyfriend disappeared. He left her and disappeared. Never contacted her again. Well, what happened was he got put in this insane asylum, this psychiatry hospital, and it turns out it was by her father. Her father's a doctor, and he does consultancy at this hospital. Anyway, so he wanted him away from his daughter, and evidently Freddy Krueger stuff was happening then. That was like 5-6 years before. And so anyway, his roommate Mark pulls a stunt, and the guards end up taking him back to his room, and he gets the keys. So they're able to escape. Because he wants to go make sure his girlfriend is safe.
Yeah.
We meet her father, and there's just something about him that's you're just saying there's something not right here. And he's trying to roofie her. He's trying to put stuff in her drink. So again, this is the medication that you don't dream. And she doesn't take it. She doesn't drink her juice this morning. And when she leaves, the sheriff just pops in out of nowhere. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. He just kind of pops in and goes, "So you're not going to tell her, huh?" Well, one of those deals. Again, they don't want to say Freddy Krueger's name, but they all know what's going on. Okay, the girls get back together again at school when they go to school.
kind of part of the whole plot is that by not mentioning his name, people don't remember him. So as long as you don't mention his name, he's not
he doesn't have power to
remembered.
come back.
Exactly, and that's why.
Right. So, and the other girl's name is Kia.
Yes, Kia.
Kind of the pink hair, like a Kia Sportage. Then we meet. His name is Freeberg, and another guy, and they're the stoners from school. They're having a party that night in the cornfield. They're gonna have a Children of the Corn party.
Yeah.
Never a good idea. And then Mark comes in, starts telling her about Freddy Krueger. He's saying Freddy Krueger in the hallway there amongst all the kids. And then Will shows up, and she's like, "Oh my God, it's Will!" The big hug, and then she passes out. I guess because she's sleep deprived, and it's just a big shock to see Will, after he's disappeared for so long.
Yeah.
So they take her to the hospital, and Kia starts to dream, and she's looking through a magazine about plastic surgery, and Freddy shows up, does "got your nose," and cuts her nose off, and she wakes up screaming.
Boom. I believe that actress was a member of Destiny's Child, the band.
Really?
Yeah.
The actress's name is Kelly Rowland.
Yeah, she used to be in Destiny's Child as one of the three of them. I can't remember. But
interesting. That was Beyonce's old group, right? Beyonce's old group?
Yes.
Okay, so Mark and Will get chased out of the school. They get seen by somebody important. They get chased out of school. They end up going to the library and checking some microfilm on old newspapers. And then they find out some Freddy Krueger stuff. And they go back to Mark's house. And in his van, they just Will says, "Look, I gotta save her. I gotta save her from Freddy Krueger." He goes, "Okay, well, you got 24 hours to find her. She's probably gonna be at that party, and I'll just stay here and wait for you." So that's what happens. The problem is he's gonna go to sleep. He's gonna go to sleep. So they're in the middle of the corn party, in the middle of the cornfield, crop circles. They have a big party to forget about all the murder and mayhem. Because that's what you do, when you're young. Murder, mayhem. Hey, let's have a rave.
But only for a moment.
Now, we forgot to mention the town nerd, Linderman. He looks like somebody. I want to say he looks like Shaf LeBeau younger, but anyway, he looks like somebody. Linderman is got the hots for Lori, but ain't gonna happen. She's just totally not into him at all. She wants Will, and Kia doesn't want anything to do with him. She's just like, get lost, that kind of thing, But anyway, there it is. And then Will shows up.
What was that yellow thing? Did you have to block out a boob?
No. No, there's some nudity here. By the way, we do show gore and sometimes nudity on this. This is not for kids. And we do a timeline of the entire movie, so it's spoilers. If you want the cliff notes to a horror film that you haven't seen, then okay, yeah, this is it. And we tell you what works and what doesn't work for us. But you're going to see some gore on this in this episode. This is a very graphic film, and there's nudity as well. I bypassed most of the nudity.
Not only that, but I mean, like, anytime I'm present anywhere, it should give the signal that it is for adults only.
He can't work clean, folks. That's what he's saying. Can't work clean.
I can't do it. I've tried. All right, let's keep going.
Will is very happy that he's found her. Unfortunately, Gib has fallen asleep, and she wakes up in Freddy's world. She goes into a grain silo, supposedly a grain silo, and it becomes Freddy's, what is it, his nightmare room with the boilers and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there he is, terrorizing her like he terrorizes the others.
I believe that's basically a recreation of the boiler room where he was burned in.
Yeah. Well, again, he did all of his, you know.
Hi, Jonathan.
Took the children to the boiler room to kill them.
Yeah.
So this guy looking very Billy Idol jumps on top of Gibbs, hoping to have his way with her, and then Jason shows up and kills him and her. And then Jason comes out of the cornfield to two guys, turns the head of one of them around, and then the other guy stabs him with one of those tiki flame things.
Yeah, tiki
fire.
A tiki torch.
Tiki torch, yeah. And again, fire. You know, it's a good deterrent. But in this case, he just keeps walking around on fire.
No, he does, yeah.
And he's, setting the cornfield on fire. Pandemonium ensues. He takes the tiki torch that he's been stabbed with and throws it back at the kid and kills him.
He kills a bunch of people in this scene.
The death count in this film is pretty high.
Yeah.
So the girls, Kia and Lori and Will and Linderman even, they find out that Gib is dead, that she's been killed by Jason, and Freddy is very upset with that because he loses the chance to kill her and gain that power. So he's very upset with Jason because he could have got that power himself, and he's very upset. So there's Jason. And again, he towers over everybody else, all these other actors.
Ken Kersinger is a huge dude.
He's very tall. Yeah, very tall. So pandemonium ensues, and they jump in the van, Mark's van, and Will is driving, and they haul boogie. They get out of there. And they go back to Mark's place. Or actually, they drop Kia and Linderman off and then go to Mark's place. If they hadn't dropped these two off, they probably would have saved Mark. That's the bad part. Yes, Mark is going to die. He's falling asleep. So, they go to her house also, and her dad shows up, and he's not happy about Will being there. And she runs up to her room, locks the door on her dad, and we find out that the dad, somebody killed her mother, and the dad blamed it on Will, and it wasn't that at all. And now we think that the dad killed her, but it wasn't him either. And she runs out of her bedroom window and goes down back to the van, and her and Will take off to Mark's. When they get to Mark's, he's already fallen asleep, and he's well into a dream with Freddy. There's Freddy in the mirror. And his brother, who committed suicide, probably thanks to Freddy, shows up. There's his brother in a bathtub full of blood. This guy looks familiar, too. I know I've seen him in other things.
No, I have as well, but I couldn't find the actual actor credit, but I do know him from other films.
Yeah. So he's kind of strapped to the floor by these little things, the blood tentacle things that have come out of the blood that his brother spews forward towards him. And he's like, "Somebody wake me up!" Which is a great line. There he is saying, "Somebody wake me up, please!" And then he goes to the window, and they're looking in the window like they can't help him because there's bars on the window. And then Freddy starts cutting him up in the dream. And the cuts start appearing on him. And they see it just appear out of nowhere, and they're freaking out. And then he turns his back, and it says, "Freddy's back." See how he did that? So Freddy is officially back, and he's got the power now to kill in the dreams again. So that's what he wanted. So at the police station, again, the new deputy is like, hey, you know what? Will you tell me what's going on here? You know, who's this Freddy guy? And his boss is all over him. No, you don't even say that name. Yeah. I have a feeling that they probably shot a death scene for this policeman, but it got cut from the film.
Yes.
That's
it actually...
Because usually the head police guy who tries to cover up usually dies. I bet you they filmed a death scene for Laurie's father too, but they cut it from the film.
Sure, that's in that bathtub, by the way. It seems to me like it's probably Zach Ward.
Yeah, Zach Ward is his name. You're right.
Yeah.
What else has Zach Ward done?
I'm not sure.
It sounded like you knew what Zach Ward.
Well, I recognize his face. I know he was in. I know he was in another one that was really big, but I can't remember what the heck it was right now. But
okay. Well, all right. Look up Zach Ward on IMDb and see what he's done. So Laurie and all.
Yeah. Guys, just do what I did and look up IMDb real quick.
They're together doing a kind of a meeting to see what they can do to kind of stop Freddy. And Laurie falls asleep. And she starts having a dream that she's there in the room and they're coming after her. And then her father shows up and gives her a nice big wet tonguey kiss. And he turns into Freddy. And she grabs him by the ear and pulls his ear off and pulls his ear out of the dream and into the room. So now she knows if I grab onto him, I can hold onto him and pull him into the real world. Okay, this is a very important plot point. So if you grab onto Freddy when you wake up, you can bring him into this world. Hypnosil, that's it, Hypnosil.
Hypnosil, yeah, that's what it was called.
This is where we find out that her father was giving Hypnosil to kids. They were testing it on kids that were from Elm Street in that psych ward, so that they wouldn't dream. Okay.
Well, I think that's probably a throwback to the Dream Child.
Could be.
When Nancy came back in the Dream, or not the Dream Child, the Dream Warriors Part 3. When Nancy came back, she was like, "They gave me this," and she was talking about that Hypnosil stuff. So that's probably it. And the thing is that this movie is full of Easter eggs to all of the old films, both Friday the 13th and A Nightmare on Elm Street. So
so they decide to go to the hospital, break back into the hospital, psychiatric ward, and get some Hypnosil so that they won't dream. Okay. What else can they do, right? So they break in. The security guard sees that somebody's breaking in, but what we're experiencing is that Jason is there. We're hearing him pound on one of the doors. So the guard goes to the door, and Jason just pushes the door over onto the guard and squashes him to death. The security guard. You see big fist pounding in that door there. Jason walks in. Now, they find a ward of people who are in comas because they've been experimented on with Hypnosil. And again, this is all her father's fault, evidently. And Freeberg smokes a joint, and this little I don't know, worm-like dog kind of thing, centipede, comes in with Freddy's face on it, and he pulls out a hookah, a bong, and hits him in the face with some smoke, and Freeberg, falls into the dream world, and he ends up eating that worm. He ends up ingesting Freddy, so Freddy is in his body. So, and he tells him, and he goes in the ward, and the people start waking up in the weird coma ward there. There is a movie called Coma where this is actually kind of the plot of that whole movie, is that they take patients that they experimented on and they went into comas and they put them in a special room. So it's kind of an Easter egg to that, which is a 70s movie. So they're telling him, dump the Hypnosil, dump it down the drain, which Freeberg does. And the deputy guy who's helping them, he gets killed by Jason. Jason shows up and kills him. There, he gets fried. And that's bad, because he's a good actor. He's been in a lot of things, and he's a nice guy. He helped him out. So Freeberg is in the hallway waiting for Jason because it's actually Freddy, and he's got 2 big hypothermic needles, like giant hypothermic needles filled with tranquilizer. He's going to put Jason to sleep. Yeah. And the rest of them run past him and go, "Come on, man, come on! You can't take him, man. Come on!" And he's just sitting there with an evil look on his face, waiting for Jason to get to him. And then he sticks him with those hypodermic needles.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason cuts him in half. And then he falls down because he's full of tranquilizer. So the next scene is funny because they load him up into the van. Their van. They're taking Jason back to Camp Crystal Lake because they're going to pull Freddy out of the dream world and then have him fight Jason. So now we're in the dream world, or Jason is in the dream world now, which is this is the twist. Now Jason has to fight Freddy in his world, where he obviously can't win because Freddy is controlling everything. So he's very strong, very powerful, but Freddy always, when in the dream world, Freddy will always come back. You can't take him out in his own world. And then some water falls on Jason, and he stops. And Freddy realizes that fire is his deterrent, water is Jason's deterrent. He's afraid of water because he drowned. He was a kid when he drowned. So water bathes over Jason, and he just he kind of freaks a little bit, starts shaking, and then he reverts into the child Jason. And Freddy takes full advantage of that. Oh, yeah, he's real evil, mean. I'll tell you, Robert Englund is so evil in this, as evil as he was in the first one. I had forgotten how nasty Freddy Krueger was. I really love the first one. I mean, the first one, he was dark. He was dark, he was scary. And the longer and longer, it kind of happened to Jason as well. There's just kind of like inside jokes and stuff like that. They were kind of parodying their characters in the last few films, And again, they go out of their way to make Jason really frightening in this film as well. They
do. They do, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's not done for laughs. There are amusing things in this, kind of dark humor in this, but it's not because of that.
Oh, well, yeah, there are funny parts, but it's not because Freddy is the way that he was in the first film. Because
Oh, we lost your audio. You there?
Yeah, am I?
There we go.
Yeah.
So they're driving Jason to Camp Crystal Lake, and they're going to put Laurie to sleep for 15 minutes. And meanwhile, in the dream world, Jason is holding up. Freddy is holding up Jason's mother's head, and really terrorizing little Jason there. And then he's putting his knife into Jason's head. And again, he starts to convulse and stuff, and then they put Laurie to sleep.
Yep.
And Laurie goes into the dream world. And she sees Camp Crystal Lake. The kids are all poking fun at Jason. The camp counselor turns into Freddy. and he's having sex with a dead body, and she tries to save Jason from drowning in the water because that's what's happening evidently in the dream world. Freddy is sending him back to the beginning where he drowned as a kid. And she pulls him out of the water.
Is this the part where Freddy was jiggling some dead chick's boob?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right after that, yeah. So Freddy's furious.
Because I did want to bring up that scene because it is funny as hell. I mean, I know you can't show it, but
yeah, we were already gone past it.
Yeah.
So yeah, she pulls him out of the water, and Freddy is like pissed. You know, he was just about to give the death knell to Jason and put him, and then he turns his wrath on Laurie. And Jason is still there. So, but he sends Laurie back to the house, the Elm Street house, and she doesn't wake up when she's supposed to wake up in 15 minutes. She's like, "No, I'm back at the original house." She goes back to the original house. Her father is there. Oh no, I'm sorry. She sees that it was Freddy that killed her mom. They try to get her to safety. But we missed the scene. I'm sorry. Where Kia has to try to give mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to Jason, who is coughing up water because he was drowning. And then the van flips over.
Yeah.
So Freddy corners Laurie upstairs in the house, and he starts cutting on her, and the cuts start to appear on her chest. And Will is like, "We gotta wake her up. We gotta wake her up." And they've all forgotten that Jason is woken up. Kind of forgot that part.
A little bit, yeah.
Freddy's really nasty here because it's established that she's a virgin, so he has lines like, "It's very messy on the first time," you know, that kind of stuff. And he puts his little blade up her thigh. She's really nasty.
You know, Robert Englund really is a legend. I saw that remake where they had some other guy play him, and
I didn't even watch it. I wouldn't do it.
I didn't care for it at all. I don't think.
With that much makeup on, he can be Jason until he's 100.
Exactly. It wasn't.
He's obviously spry. He can do it.
Yeah, it wasn't the same. But anyway.
So Laurie pulls.
I'm just gonna call those parts technicals that nobody cares about.
She pulls him back into the Camp Crystal Lake world. And Jason shows up, and yeah. So now it's him against Jason again. There he is, turning to realize, oh my God, I'm in the real world. You know, there's no special mood lighting here. It's the real world, and I'm up against Jason again, in real life.
Yeah.
So there they are. They're squaring off again. The cabin there is catching fire and burning. So the other guys are trying to get out. In the crossfire, Linderman gets poked, stabbed really bad. So Kia has to get him out. He actually starts to like him, you feel. You know, she lays him down by a tree. She's not realizing that he is really bleeding profusely from his side. And he goes, go help the others. I'll be fine. Just leave me here. I'll be fine. And, of course, he dies. And so she goes up against Freddy. Freddy gets out of the cabin. And she starts making fun of him. You know, ooh, you know, you're compensating for something with those knives, blah, 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 blah. Jason's got a big old knife. And then he smiles. And she realizes, oh, God, Jason's behind me, isn't he? And Jason puts the final touch on Kia. Slams her into a tree with great, powerful force. And then Jason starts fighting with Freddy again. And this is really the final battle between it's the big battle, the climactic battle.
Yeah.
And yeah, you realize that this is a construction site for a new set of fishing cabins. Now they're not going to turn it into a camp anymore. They're gonna rent out fishing cabins to rich people that want to go fishing on the weekend, that kind of thing. And there's a big construction site there where they're retooling everything. And so, yeah, they start using all of that stuff, that construction stuff, to work on each other. You know, Freddy starts knocking the tops off of these gas containers, and they start flying out. This is a kind of a nod to Jaws, I guess, with her firing them like torpedoes at Jason. Man, the torpedoes. And one of them actually hits him and knocks him way back on a ramp. On the top of this ramp, there's all kinds of stuff waiting to be thrown down on top of him. And there's some rebar up there that Jason sends down his way, which pokes through his chest, pokes through his legs. And Freddy's happy about that. That's in our.
I can only imagine that Jason probably said, "There's too many captains on this island. $10,000. That's for me by myself. Finn, you get the whole damn. You get the whole damn Jason."
Freddy's in the water. Knives in the water. All right. So, and I'm wearing a cap like his.
Oh well, nice.
Yeah, Freddy.
Tell people you planned it.
But again, Jason is just too powerful. He brushes it all off, and he gets Freddy to get caught up in some rope and flip upside down, where he starts beating on him. And it's actually a very impressive fight, a very well choreographed fight between the two titans.
Yeah, especially taking into the fact that it's Ken Kersinger, because, he doesn't play the role anymore. I wish he still would. I would love another movie with Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. But he said he
the right money.
Well, he said he's done with the role. But the fact that Robert Englund can act against Ken Kersinger that well, that really is a testament to both of them as actors. You know what I mean? So, to me, maybe I'm looking too far into it.
All right. So we can breeze through these next few slides, because again, it's just fighting.
Yeah.
He gets Freddy down on his stomach on the dock. He throws him over to the dock, so you know it's going to get serious. They're on the dock, and again, they're swiping at each other. And actually, Freddy manages to chop off the fingers on Jason's right hand. He's right-handed, where he's holding his, and he manages to get his machete.
Yeah.
And so he uses it. he stabs him multiple times, and he uses his knives, his finger knives, to poke his eyes. Really nasty. You would think he wasn't going to come back from that, but it's Jason. So Lori and Will is like, "Let's go, come on, let's go." "No, he killed my mother." And he's like, "I'm bleeding."
Yeah.
That's what he should have said. I'm really bleeding bad here. So anyway, they set the dock on fire. They pour gas all over the dock. Not to Abbott Costello meet Frankenstein. They set the dock on fire.
Oh my God, that's another one.
Yeah, they're giving nods to all kinds of famous films, horror films.
By the way, while I have the opportunity, I would like to say that between me and you, General Howitzer, I really love the painting that Rory Penland did last night of Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. It was interesting. It was kind of a generic Frankenstein, a little bit of Lon Chaney in there, I think. I think he was right. I think it looks kind of like the Lon Chaney Frankenstein, but
that's what I could have dreamed of. So I really enjoyed seeing that happen. It was fun to be there. Thank you.
There it is. All right. So, the thing's on fire. They're still fighting. Laurie and Will try to make their way away. Things start blowing up. our two super villains are thrown into the water. So you would think that would mean that Jason is out because he's probably gonna drown. But they come out of the water, Laurie and Will, and here comes Freddy. Freddy's got the machete, and he's ready to kill him. And then he gets his arm torn off and pushes his arm with the knives through his chest. And then Jason falls in the water again. So Freddy, he's stunned because he's got his own arm through him. She picks up the machete. He drops the machete. She picks it up and she chops his head off. And it's really graphic, really. So we see the head floating under the water, and so that's it. They're gone now. She looks down to see Jason's hockey mask also descending into the water, down out of sight into the water. Water's on fire. Not sure why. But I know that construction crew is going to be really upset when they get there in the morning because the place is completely destroyed now. We get one last shot of Jason walking out of the water. We're not sure if it's in the real world or if it's in the death world, dream world, whatever you want to call it. He's holding Freddy's head, and the last thing we see is Freddy wink to the camera, letting us know, hey, it's all right, it's cool, I'm good. And that's it. That's the end of the movie. So Freddy versus Jason again.
Isn't there like an after credits scene though?
Oh, is there? I'm sorry. Once I hit those the cast credits, that's it. I'm done with the timeline. So if there is, I didn't see.
I believe at the end of Freddy versus Jason, Jason's mask is laying in some sand, and Freddy's hand comes up and brings it down with him.
No, that was what was the one that was right before Jason goes to hell? That's when that scene happened, and that led people to believe that this was going to happen, Freddy versus Jason, because that's Freddy's fucking, yeah. It might have been Jason.
No, you're right. I guess I got the two of them mixed up. Because I mean, to me personally, the ending of this movie seemed like sequel bait to me.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, they totally would have done it, but I mean, like,
fans wanted to see Michael Myers added to the mix, so it's Jason versus Freddy versus Michael Myers. Some wanted Ash from Army of Darkness,
Evil Dead,
yeah, to be part of the mix. You know, again, there are a lot of fans wanted different scenarios, different fights. But I do believe that was there. It is
the Evil Dead.
Best thing Ted Raimi ever did.
Oh yeah. I
played the mother.
I love it.
All right.
For sure.
So thank you for joining us again for another Jason training film, which just happened to have Freddy in it as well, which you're also an authority on. And
Yes.
Hazzard, are you there?
Can we page Major Hazzard?
Yeah.
Yes, hello.
There we go.
I'm wrangling all kinds of monsters back here. You don't even want to know about it. Don't ask for details. I'm not going to tell.
Well, watching Jason and watching Freddy, those are two faces that only a mother could love.
That's right. Thank you for
and a mother would kill
doing
for.
That. That's right. Absolutely.
I like that you're being extra with the Brooklyn accent.
No, this
Millie.
is real. This is authentic. This is
That's
how we all
Yonkers
talk
accent,
over here.
yes.
Oh,
We all
okay.
talk just like Archie.
She's from Yonkers, anyway.
Well, I mean, I'm from Brooklyn, and I forgot to talk that way a long time ago.
No,
Yeah.
we're still doing it. We're still doing it, Julio. You can do
Every,
it.
every once in a while, it pops out of me.
There you go. I want to hear it, Julio. It's the real essence of you. You got to let the New York out of you. You got a New Yorker right in there who wants to say, "Hey,
hey, yo, let's go." I mean, the thing the thing is, Millie, is that I've been doing a pretty good job about not swearing on this show tonight, so I want to keep that going. So
forget about it.
Because that's a prerequisite to being a New Yorker.
The general loves when we swear. It keeps him on his toes because he's retired.
I'm surprised Millie hasn't done it through this whole show. She hasn't really cussed all that much.
I mean, I mean, totally fucking A. I can't believe these fucking people. They just. I mean, I'm trying to go through a red light for 15 minutes, and this motherfucker in front of me, he's just fucking sitting there, and I got nowhere to go, and it's just like, hey.
I can't remember who did this bit, but the alphabet in New York: fucking A, fucking B, fucking C. Anyway,
so that. Oh, absolutely, Renee. And thank you for having me.
We love having you. You're the best expert of all time. You know everything. You know all the training films. You know all the characters, all the monsters.
You definitely know your zombies, and you know your Jason and Freddy. That's for sure.
You're so great. We're happy to have you.
Wow.
The next 3 shows for Halloween season are going to be Universal Classics: The Wolfman, Frankenstein, and Dracula with Bela Lugosi, the original. We're going to do them in color. So definitely stay tuned to the rest of this month. And look at that. Another famous painting by Rory Penland, the clown with the blue hair.
Clown with blue hair. I think that my house might be haunted because this just fell off the wall just now. So,
I think you maybe bumped it with your shoulder or something. But anyway.
No, I wasn't anywhere near it. That's a funny thing. I think there's just ghosts.
Vibrations.
Probably ghosts I created, but thank you for
having me. Bennett. She knows ghosts. All right, cadets, keep an eye out for those big monsters. Thank you very much.